Welcome to a new fragrance review. Today I'm going to tell you the top 10 fragrance on Fragrance Buy. So, if you don't know, I'm from Canada, and where I buy my fragrance most of the time is Fragrance Buy. There's other places, but Fragrance Buy is like the discounter where I buy my fragrance. Actually, really like them for many reasons, like really including also the fact that they're in Canada. And when I buy stuff in the US, it's always complicated, it's long, then I have to pay another bill and stuff like that. So I'd rather buy something that it's less complicated and that's gonna arrive sooner. I know in the US it's not the #1 place you should buy, but in Canada I think it is. So I decided to go on the website, check out their fragrance for men, and go and like they're evaluated to see which are the fragrances that are the most loved. And I was really surprised. There's like one or two there that, well, maybe like more than on that, but there's a couple they're obvious. I'm gonna tell them, and you're gonna be like, yeah, of course. And some of them surprising. We're gonna go with number 10, which is surprising that it's number 10, and that is just on the list, and it's Green Irish Tweed by Fraiche. And I've never tried a fragrance. I've tried other fragrances that are either clone or like known to be similar. And the style of fragrance is a really interesting style. I'd like to try it eventually. It's just really expensive just to try it and maybe just do a video, but it seems like a really nice, really interesting fragrance, and it will be the fragrance that seems also the most interesting by Creed, so makes sense that it's there in a way. And by the way, it's the only Creed in the list, so that's what makes it even more crazy that it's number 10. Like Aventus is not on the list, but this one is. Number 9 is Noire by Lalique, and I'm happy to see a fragrance by Lalique, which is one of my favorite brands, especially Noire L'Extrême. I actually never tried at Extreme, but I heard about it, heard it's really good. I tried the original, and it's really an amazing fragrance. It's really nice, really original. I heard it's more sweet and more like complex, more complete as a fragrance. Heard by many that it's the best version of it, but it's special that it's there as one of the most well-rated fragrance. Number 8 is Sauvage Eau de Toilette by Christian Dior, and this fragrance just makes sense. Actually, it's a fragrance that I will like do my review next week, and I'm not a big fan of Sauvage. I wouldn't say that it's a bad fragrance, but it's not like crazy. You don't really get why there's such a hype around the fragrance other than the marketing, but I won't like bash on it, say it's horrible or stuff like that. It's just I don't really get it, but I get that it's there on the list, and it's special that it's not that high, but I get it's there. It's really popular, people want to buy it, and if they can have it cheaper, they'll get it for cheap. Though probably from all the fragrance on the list, it's probably the one with the worst discount, and it's most likely because it's the most popular. Even though it's not the most well-rated, it's probably the most popular. I'm sure a lot of people just hear that it's amazing, you should buy it and everything, and they get it, they think it's boring and give it a bad rating, and that's why it's not as high on the list. That's the only thing I would see. Number 7, it's Versace Men Eau Fraiche, and this fragrance also makes sense that it's there. It's special that it's really like so high in the top, but it's a really popular fragrance. Again, it's not a fragrance that I think was really nice and interesting. I'm not a fan of fresh fragrance. I'm more a fan of dark, resinous, woody fragrance. And even like some of my summer fragrance are stuff that people would usually wear in winter, like Coram. So I won't bash against it. People like it, and I would get that it makes sense to wear that kind of fragrance when it's nice, warm, and everything. Number 6 is Club de Nuit Milestone for Men by Armaf, and it's the only Armaf on the list, which is really special. Club de Nuit Intense is not there, Aventus is not there. It really seems to me that old Aventus craze is like going away. It's true, Aventus was made like not a long time ago, but kind of long time ago, so it makes sense that it kind of fade away a little bit. Like every fragrance, when it's been a while, they just don't get so popular anymore. Club de Nuit Milestone is actually a fragrance that I haven't tried. I haven't tried like what it copy or any other that I cloned what it clones, so I have nothing to say about it. But I know it's really popular these days, so it makes sense that it's high like that. And I hear always people say that it's great, and I think there's one Club de Nuit, it's like Club de Nuit Urban Man, that is known to be really bad, but all the other Club de Nuit are most likely well rated, even Club de Nuit Man, but like some people love, some people hate it, but it doesn't matter how many people hate it, if there's as many that love it, people will talk about it anyway. Number 5, Erode by Parfum de Marly, and I'm a little bit sad that it's the fragrance that's there. Erode actually, for me, was really a big disappointment. Really bad fragrance. It's not that it was bad, it's just that for the price you pay for it, and like the quality of the fragrance was really bad. You know, there's Burberry London. That's not quite the same fragrance. I mean, there's difference. They are both are their own thing, but they're both like doing the same thing. A little spicy tobacco, kind of sweet, spicy tobacco fragrance. They're both like the same thing in that sense. And Burberry London is like 10 times less expensive, maybe like 5 times less expensive, 5 to 10 times. And it's way better, projection is better, longevity is better, smell is more interesting, and it just makes Erode being really a bad deal for what it is. And I know a lot of people love Erode. I don't say that Parfum de Marly is a bad brand or anything, it's just that Erode is not a good deal as a tobacco fragrance. There are way more better options, and I think they just missed it, but still a lot of people love it, so it makes sense that it's there. I'm actually surprised that it's Erode that's there. Could it be also tobacco vanille, and there's no like Tom Ford in there also, so this is something that's special. Though Tom Ford are expensive, so maybe that's why less people buy it, so there's less people that Number 4 is Dylan Blue by Versace, and I haven't really enjoyed this fragrance, but I wouldn't say that it's a bad fragrance. It's just, I haven't enjoyed it much. There's Bvlgari Aqua Atlantique that smells really similar, and I think it's way better. Maybe eventually I would want to have a bottle of Dylan Blue because Aqua Atlantique discontinued. If I want to have something in that type of fragrance, I might have to go toward Dylan Blue, but I'm not quite sure. It's a nice aquatic fragrance. I just think that the blending is really poorly made. It's a nice aquatic fragrance with a dry down of a nice musky fragrance, which like are two completely different kind of fragrance. It's like a fragrance to go have fun, go in a party or something like that, that dries down into something to go to work. It's just what I don't like about it actually. It's that it feels like there's no place where it will actually fit into a fragrance wardrobe. Number 3 is Lalique by Versace, and I probably pronounced it really poorly. And it's a clone of Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford. It's known to be the best clone of Tuscan Leather, and I haven't tried it, so I don't know exactly like if it's really a good clone, how it is, and I cannot like really comment on it. But I do have a clone from Just Jack of Tuscan Leather, and it's really a great fragrance. Now I don't know like how they compare, but I know that kind of fragrance is great, and it's a leather fragrance, and it's the only leather fragrance on the list, so it makes sense that this one will be really high ranked. That type of scent is really nice. When Tom Ford created that fragrance, Tuscan Leather, it was a really nice blend that he did, and makes sense that it became really interesting, really loved as a blend, and that something cheaper became the most loved fragrance. A little bit like Club de Nuit Lancement to Aventus and other example like that don't come to my mind, but it always happens. Brand do something expensive, another one do it for cheaper, even though it's not quite the same, and people just love the cheap stuff. Number 2 is Eros by Versace, the original, and this fragrance, again, not my type of fragrance, but as a clubbing fragrance, it's really a solid one. It's a great fragrance. It's really all you want in a clubbing fragrance is there. The blend is really well made. The like DNA it use is like original to itself. I know there are a lot of fragrances are the same ballpark than Eros, but Eros actually came up with this, so it's nice to see for a change that the one that created something is there and not a clone. Not my type of fragrance, but I don't really need a clubbing fragrance in my collection, but for people that do it, it's a great pick. Personally, I prefer Eros Flame, but it's just a personal preference. And number one is Aqua by Versace, and this is really surprising for me. I hear a lot about it, and it makes sense because it's like an Invictus Aqua cologne. And Invictus Aqua was known to be the best version of Invictus, and people like it. It's a nice, sweet fragrance, especially for younger guys. It's cheaper than Invictus. Everything seems to be better. I haven't tried a fragrance, but it seems to project more like crazy than Invictus. Even on discounters, it's going to be cheaper, so it makes sense that it's there. I'm surprised that it's number one, but I would assume that it will be in the top 5. At least. And also, there's a lot of people that talk about it, so it makes sense. And I had other fragrance that smell in that same area, like Invictus Aqua. This one, I heard it's way more sweeter than the other one that I've tried, but still, I think it's a great DNA. If you want something nice, sweet, and something interesting a little bit, I think it's a good fragrance. At least it's a good DNA. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If it's the case, well, like and share. If you have a different opinion of any of the fragrance that I talked today in the top 10 in Fragrance Buy, tell me what is your opinion. Also, you need to know that it was done in late June, and those ranking may change over time. So if you go and take a look, it might not be the same ranking, but as the date of today, that's what they are. So, thanks for watching, and see you soon.